Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. You know that I run a recruitment company and Saudi is one of the most popular destinations for hospitality workers. I have touched base on some advantages and some trends about working in Saudi in my previous video. I will leave it up here, check it out. But everything has a flip side, and today I want to concentrate on the negatives of working in Saudi and what kind of risks and disadvantages you may face when you're looking for a job in Saudi. Let's get right into it. If we took Gulf region 5-6 years ago, Saudi was this very closed, very conservative country that you could not get a work visa for or even a tourist visa. If you're a girl, forget about it. You should go with a chaperone, with your brother, father, or your husband. You could not travel alone, and in general, to get a tourist visa, it was very difficult. When in Dubai, girls were chilling in bikinis on the beach, in Saudi, you could hardly meet a tourist at all. But time went by and Saudi decided to diversify their economy. They didn't want to depend only on gas and oil anymore, and they decided to develop other industries as well. And hospitality is one of those industries. So around 2019, they opened up their borders. Now you can easily get a tourist visa online. There are a lot of RJs, there are a lot of events that are developed and brought into the country to entertain tourists. Even though Saudi made a huge advance and they're continuing to opening up, but still, if we compare Saudi to other Gulf countries that opened their borders to tourists a while ago, you'll see that Saudi is one of the most conservative. As a girl, for example, even though you are no longer required to wear abaya, you still have to cover everything possible. You have to wear long skirt or a long dress with long sleeves. You have to cover your cleavage. Even if you're going in jeans or trousers, there could be some looks here and there that wouldn't approve. There are a lot of separations for men and women in gyms, in restaurants, in all the public areas. So for some people, it could be highly challenging to adjust to this kind of environment, to integrate into culture that you've never faced before. If you know that you're not super flexible person, maybe you need to read and Google and search more information on this subject to make sure that when you arrive, you won't be disappointed. Another thing here is the limited entertainment and leisure options. So even though this industry in Saudi is gradually developing, it still may not provide the same variety and accessibility as some other countries. So for your days off and for your spare time, you might find less things to do and less places to go than maybe in your home country. Now let's talk more about work side of it all. So first disadvantage that we face here would be visa process. Interesting thing here is that visa process is challenging for both candidate and the client. For candidates, it's challenging because you have to go to the embassy, you have to prepare a list of documents, you have to prepare your police clearance, you have to do your medicals, which will involve some extra expenses. And in the embassy, there is a consulate fee that you may have to pay. Most of the companies cover this expense either right away or maybe when you come to Saudi, but some don't, and you have to be ready that this is also some expenses that you may face. It's not something major, but still something that good to know. For employers, it's difficult because the visa quotas are not just handed by government easily, and you have to hire Saudi people in order to bring more people from abroad. So acquiring necessary amount of visa quotas for specific nationalities could take a long while, and this slows down the process. So employers struggle with this as well. Another thing here is that there are a lot of new restaurants. On one hand, it's very positive because there are more opportunities if the whole restaurant is hiring, so they have like 100 positions open, so you have better chance of getting in. But on another hand, new restaurants often tend to be delayed, and you may find yourself in a situation where you went through the interview, got an offer, signed the offer, and you're waiting for your visa and you're waiting for a company to open and you're waiting to actually join the company. And it's okay if it's like for months or two, but sometimes it could go on for 6 months or a year. Sometimes it could be even canceled. I see this happening all the time here and there. Plus, as the competition is high, some companies may open and then close in 6 months because they just can't break even. So this is one of the risks that you have when you are looking for a job in Saudi. There is nothing really you can do about it. You can ask during the interview whether the venue is pretty much ready or like on what stage they are at when it's a pre-opening hiring, or you can try to avoid new venues altogether, but this will limit your options very much. Next thing I want to mention, and I want really people who worked in Saudi, who is now working in Saudi, to comment down below if you agree with that. But this is something that we hear from our candidates, that even though Saudi has opened its borders and there are a lot of tourists, your main clientele still will be local citizens. And this is the country where every second or third person is a royalty. So everybody is a prince or a princess. So you can imagine what kind of attitude you can be facing with. So when you're going to work in Saudi, in hospitality sphere, you have to be prepared to deal with absolutely different mentality of clients and to do it in a calm and serving manner. Considering that hospitality in general, in its nature, involves a lot of different situations that arise on a daily basis and that you have to deal with, it could be really challenging to handle this type of clients. Another issue you may face working in Saudi is that it is not as easy to get a transfer from one company to another. And some companies may not allow you to do that. In this case, you would have to terminate the contract and go out of the country and then come in with your new employer, which also would take probably about months or two for you to come back. So when you're choosing a company in Saudi, I really recommend to put more thought into it so you don't try to leave in a few months. Of course, you can always terminate any kind of contract, but it will be just more expensive and harder to do if you do it in Saudi. I'm not filming this video to discourage you to go to Saudi. Rather, I want to prepare you for situations that you might find yourself in and give you information that could help you to deal with it. I really think that Saudi is a great place with a lot of amazing opportunities, but I also believe when you are committing to 1 or 2 year contract, your decision should be very well thought through, so you have realistic expectations and you won't be disappointed when you come to the country. I hope it didn't scare you. If you have other disadvantages that I did not mention, please comment down below and I'll see you in the next videos.